GM's Tricks of the Trade, number 52. Nope, not at all. Number 53. What is today's topic? Catch the table's attention. How's it going, Epi? Looks good, sounds good. All right, smell good. There you go. We have officially ordered the new mic, and we have officially ordered the lighting stuff to get rid of the glare. There you go. I think you got on I was on Discord for about 10 minutes this morning. You got on, and just as I was jumping off and returning to Of Gods and Monsters, I want to try to start wandering into the Discord more often. I don't ever think about it. I'll check Facebook and go see what people are talking about there, but I haven't quite gotten my head around the Discord yet, which I need to do. But that's coming for a certainty. As things get retooled one way or the other, we've got all kinds of exciting things going on. We're going to launch very, very soon. It's a fancy chat room. There you go. Well, actually, I want to start doing some games over there too. Maybe next week will be the first one I do. I'm doing during the day, just like to start off just an hour or so, and I'm not going to use any platforms. I'm just going to use Discord and cameras and see if I can't get more accustomed to kind of running virtually. It's not something I'm used to. So, though since the pandemic, my own crew and I have been gaming Thursday nights via Skype, I guess we're doing it. How's it going, Raven Shadows? So I am slowly getting used to it. Yeah, I did the one game on Discord server for GaryCon. I don't know, for some such and the other, and we were going to switch my entire Thursday night crew over to it, but two of them, one doesn't have a PC or something, and the other one didn't have a camera on his PC. The one has since got a camera, and I'm not sure what the other one is. So eventually we will migrate. Lord of mercy. How's it going, Commander Pete? So, I clock out at 5 o'clock. I usually clock in at about 7 in the morning, take a 30-minute lunch, and then I clock out about 5 or so. And I've gotten my body conditioned that at 5, it's quitting time. So I'll usually go take a very short nap, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. But I think what's happened is I yawn so much during these shows because my body's kind of retooled itself, thinking 4 o'clock, Twitch, I'm on here just sitting here talking and chatting. It's time to go to sleep. So I have to fight that all the time. Which is good, I guess. How's it going, Retro Gamer? Yeah, it is. And too often I'll wander because I work from home, of course. We had offices for a while, but that was a ridiculously needless expense. I'll wander down if I'm bored, and I'll just start working on this, that, and the other. But I try every day to quit at 5, eat dinner with the family, take my little nap, sit outside and read my book for a little bit or watch TV. Lately it's been Letterkenny. Been watching that a lot. So I finished season 8, so I've got no more Letterkenny to watch. But yeah, I try to keep a regular schedule. It's just good. And working from home, it's harder to do. It's easy to get distracted by all kinds of stuff. He said as he was looking out the window at a squirrel. So working from home, it can be a little challenging. You gotta double down on the discipline, I think, and make yourself clock in. It's why I put my shoes on every day before I go to work, even though I work out of the offices in my house. But we are here today to do GM's Tricks of the Trade number 53, catching the table's attention. I want to thank everybody for showing up. We'll get into it in just a few minutes, let everybody kind of wander in. And if you have not already, please give us a follow. We sure appreciate it. So how are you grabbing our attention today? Magic. There's no magic. I got to thinking, I don't know what got me on this one. Last weekend, I got distracted by something, and I got to thinking, how do you real quick just grab people's attention at the table? What is it I've done over the years to just get their attention really, really fast? I thought, well, this is a great GM's Trick of the Trade because it's very easy. It was easy when we were younger, pre-cell phones and internet, and now with the internet, it's crazy easy just to get sucked into, whatever, and not paying attention at the table. So ways to grab people back out. That's not the obvious, the cascading red dragon falls upon the party. Everybody wake up, it's time to die. Yeah, that's exactly it. Commander Pete, even as I was saying that, you said make a saving throw out of the blue, and that wakes them up. It certainly does. Especially if you say saving throw or roll initiative, either one of those things, and they will be rolling. Hey, Tim, how's it going? Blazing Ice, thanks for joining us. Your internet is going to hang in there. I can feel it this time, Tim. You'll be able to stick it all the way out. That's one of the things with playing online. You can tell when their attention is elsewhere. This comes the river. Yeah, I remember years ago, one of our crew couldn't show up for, one of his kids was sick or something. So it was the first time we actually tried a Skype game. And we were all at the table, and he sat down to Skype. And, so the camera's here, but he kept doing this. And if you listen, you could hear his keyboard go, just a little clicky clacking on his keyboard. And after a while, he was a huge World of Warcraft player. Loved World of Warcraft. He hasn't mentioned it in a while, so I don't know if he's still playing it or not. But I asked him after a bit. I said, "You playing World of Warcraft while you're gaming?" And he went, "Nope." It was really funny. But we all knew he was playing World of Warcraft. So yeah, it's pretty easy to catch them when they're on camera. But I tell you, the latest thing that has injected it into my life that. So here's just an interesting story for you. Years ago, when I was working on my PhD, I was part of what's called the Great War Society, and it's this collection of historians, enthusiasts, scholars, and whatever, just people of interest that study the Great War. And they had a conference every year, and I went to the conference for quite a few years. And I remember I was down in San Antonio, and I had bought a magazine. My guess is, if I was to remember correctly, it would be The Economist. I read that voraciously in those days. It was a really good news magazine. It's become a little bit more too much editorial these days. But so I was sitting there reading the Economist. Or I sat down in my chair at the airport waiting for my plane to bring me home, and everyone was talking. It seemed like it hadn't. This was a Sunday. I had arrived on a Friday, and it seemed like Friday nobody was talking, and on Sunday everybody was talking. And I'm sure it was just a level of awareness. But everyone seemed to be on cell phones, and they were the big ones. They were bigger cell phones than we got now. But everyone just I stopped reading because everyone just seemed to be talking to nobody, and there was a good half dozen people just jibber jabbering on the telephone. And I thought, good God, the newspapers are gone, the magazines are gone, and now we're all having one-sided conversations. And it's difficult. It's difficult for me to concentrate on what I'm doing, whether I'm watching a TV show or reading a book or a magazine, if there's someone near me talking and I can't hear the other person talk. If I can hear the other person talk, everything makes sense, How are you doing? I'm doing fine. How are you doing? I'm doing great. How you get to it? There's a side of the conversation, there's sides of the conversation, and my brain can absorb it and then kind of toss it all out, and I don't hear it. It's just background noise. But when it's one side of a conversation, it sounds like a crazy person, sitting there jibber-jabbering to himself or herself, and it's just my brain can't disconnect. And I remember thinking, because I remember telling my wife later, I said, good Lord, everything's changed overnight. All of a sudden, everybody's on the damn cell phone. And now, there's a new distraction that has arrived. And it's in the guise of the Apple and whatever watch. I'm sure there are other ones out there. Because now I'm seeing people, they're not, where's my phone? They're not, checking their phone and texting it and doing this. No, they're still doing that. Now they're doing, so you can't really see it. So the watch, they're sitting here. Now they're kind of going, constantly looking down at their watch, reading texts and news stories and whatever else that is going on their wrist. It's beginning to aggravate me. I was having lunch with a good friend of mine the other day, and we chatted for a while, and I'm certain that whatever I was talking about he wasn't interested in, but he kept checking his watch, and after a little while I thought, son of a biscuit, he's having a text conversation right now without me even knowing it. So now there's yet another distraction has arrived in the guise of technology. that's going to, serve to make running games just a little bit more challenging than it was before, as you have to rope in everybody. I watched a little bit of the movie The Town. Shades of Dick Tracy, exactly. I watched a little bit of the movie The Town last night, and there's a scene where they're robbing a bank, and when they make everybody lay down on the floor, they empty out this goldfish bowl of candy, put it on the counter, and tell everyone to slide their blackberries over, and the blackberries are gathered up, put into the fish bowl, and bleach is poured on the blackberries. And I thought to myself as I was watching that, maybe that's the way to save the table. We put a fish bowl in the middle of it, everybody throws their phones in it, and we pour bleach on the telephone and put an end to all of that stuff. So, not sure that's the most practical solution, but in my scorched earth philosophy, or maybe it's a good one. I think, Commander Pete, I was in an online game a few weeks ago, and someone opened their cam, and they were driving. They said they had a 4-hour car drive ahead of them, but they should be fine. Sorry. Oh, my God, no. That's the worst thing that you can do is role play a game while you're driving. No, that's just crazy. You shouldn't really even be on the telephone while you're driving. I actually I think I mentioned this earlier in the week, I took my radio truck out and got rid of it because it was supposed to be kind of new fandangle crap that was connecting with my phone, and I kept finding myself, I have these YouTube playlists. I kept finding myself scrolling through these freaking playlists, trying to drive, trying to get something, and I was going to kill myself. I can barely pay attention without the phone. So I had the original radio put back in the truck, and my phone just gets dropped, and it goes into the drive mode where, I'm driving, I guess if I'm moving X speed, I don't know how it works, but it goes into driving, so I won't wrap my truck around anything. And people certainly do not need to do that at all. I'm going to do a Kickstarter. Oh, Chuck, that's brilliant. Oh, man, that would be fantastic. Roll the dice, EMP goes down, everybody's battery's shot, phone's down, computer's down. Oh, what a heavenly world. I'm not really a Luddite. I guess I sort of am. But I do think that there's a balance that we got to strike between technology and its footprint in our lives and non-technology. I watch so many people trying to enjoy an event, and they're not really enjoying the event. They're trying to get the photo with their camera, which means they're not enjoying the event. They're fiddling with their camera when they probably should take one picture and then enjoy what's left. I don't know. Maybe maybe I do need to buy a wagon and 100 acres out somewhere and be done with it. Move out into the wilderness and call it a day. Join the Amish community. I like their whole barn building philosophy, so that's kind of cool. All right, so at any rate, EMP dice aside, let's dive into this. We're well into our hour, and today we're talking about how to catch the table's attention, and this is sort of what we're talking about anyways. People getting distracted in today's world, and the table is no different. The table actually runs a greater risk, I think, than a lot of activities we might participate in because, if player 1 is doing X and it takes 15 minutes for that to be resolved for whatever reason, and then players 2 through 5 are just kind of sitting there, and it's tough to sit for 15 minutes and listen to someone else doing something. So you invariably kind of drift to your phone or whatever and start poking at it, and then you start not listening, and then that's already begun, and the distractions have begun. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Things that once your table's kind of gone off kilter, or even if you've lost them through your descriptive text or whatever is going on, just ways to kind of capture their attention again, to make them stop and go, what? What's going on? And see, TLG Tim, I believe you cursed me. Hardly got anything after. I think your internet is going to. That sounds about right. I do have an aura that seems to impact technology to some degree. So we'll see. What are we doing here? Yes. If you haven't already, give us a follow, and thank you for joining us today. GM's Twitch of the crate number 53. And for those of you who give a crap, I have ordered a new mic, and I have ordered the new lighting for the office that will help reduce the glare on my glasses, I'm led to believe, and sound quality should improve. The mic is already in the UPS truck headed this way. And I don't know about the lighting equipment. I just ordered it today, but probably by next week it'll all be installed and we'll be good to go. Surely by Jim's Tricks of the Trade number 54. So let's dive in. So one of the things that I like to do to just capture people's attention and bring them back to the table. And this is stuff we kind of joked earlier that's not, I'm not talking about things to do that's an encounter. Obviously, if you have something attack, if you have a spell go off, something like that, that's the easy way to get their attention, and clearly probably the most effective. You just roll in with, a bunch of ogres, and everybody's going to be at the table really quick. But I'm talking about something kind of benign that you have control over. The dice aren't going to take over at any point. You can turn it into an encounter if you want, or it's just something really to make everyone at the table go, oh, wait, what? And the first thing up is something flying. I have found this almost always works, and I think that it does so because of the name of the original RPG, Dungeons and Dragons. Dragons have taken such a prevalent role in the whole RPG, bailiwick, that the arsenal there of monsters that we all kind of look for. So when they look up on high and something blots out the sun or passes over the sun, or the shadow of this winged creature crosses over, everyone kind of immediately thinks dragon because it's flying. Now, of course, it can be any number of a gazillion monsters. Demons, devils, all kinds of stuff that flies, underground, all kinds of stuff. But that tends to draw their attention, and I think it draws their attention because their knee-jerk reaction is to think it's a dragon, or even maybe to hope it's a dragon, because that's, for me, now I don't know if it's for everybody, I suspect it's for the majority of people, it is the ultimate encounter. The dragon is it's the treasure at the end of the adventuring career. There certainly are more powerful monsters, but the dragon has all of the mystique. We've got Smaug or Smaug, or however they say it, with all of his glory that we all want to capture at the table. So I think that's why. I really think that's why when you say something is flying overhead, people almost immediately rivet and want to know what it is, want to know if it's attacking. Want to know, whatever. And I frequently with this will have it pass once and then pass over a second time. And the second time really is to make them think that it's hunting them. I may actually have it hunting them, but it's really to make them kind of think in that guys, this thing's coming for us. It saw it liked what it saw enough to circle back around just to check us out, so we got to gear up. And that tends to draw people's attention. Even those people on their phones and whatnot are going to want to know if it's a dragon that's coming over. So something flying overhead, that's the first and the most obvious. The next one is a little bit less obvious. And I want to say, like I always do here on Jim's Tricks of the Trade, I want to hear, everybody wants to hear from you. Everybody has a lot of experience at the table, or most of us have a lot of experience at the table. And even if you're new to the game, you're already adapting and handling problems and issues at your table in your own manner. We'd love to hear about it. Post it here in the feed. We'll comment and joke and break it all apart as we can. So don't hesitate to comment on what I'm saying or throw out your own ideas to get people's attention. It's always good. Hold on, I got a Skype going on. Okay, crazy stuff in the world of publishing, those things. Just crazy stuff. All right, so let's amble on to Trick of the Trade number 2. So I don't know what it is about children laughing. I watched, we talked ad nauseum a couple of weeks ago about a movie that I watched, The Witch, and this isn't exclusive to that movie, but The Shining, that's another good example of it. But children can be absolutely terrifying, and it's not terrifying in that. I don't know what I can't think of the dude with the mask, Jason. It's not terrifying as in you're waiting for someone to get chopped to pieces, or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or the jump scare. Even that's what my children call it. The thing that leaps out and makes you go, ah, whatever. And it's not, I don't know what it's not that type of terrifying. It's not something that makes your heart stop. But it's this kind of juxtaposing the innocence and the happiness and joy of a child with a situation that it shouldn't be in. And so if you're adventuring in a dark dungeon, or if you're in an abandoned cottage, or if you're wandering through the wilderness, and you hear the tittering laughter of a child, it's a little unnerving. And I think that movies do it so very, very well. The Witch did it beautifully with the two twins in it, with the nursery rhyme, Black Phillip, crown upon his head, Black Phillip, and Nanny Queenie's wed, something like that. And they're singing it in this creepy voice. Not even creepy, they're singing this really happy voice, skipping around chasing this goat, and it's just a little unnerving. The whole thing you're watching, you think this is all unnatural. This shouldn't be happening. The forest is dark, there's a witch, there's a baby gone, there's all kinds of stuff going on. These children shouldn't be laughing, so it's a disjunct in the brain, and I think that when you hear the laughter of children out of context, obviously if you're at Chuck E. Cheese, you expect to hear the laughter of children, or watching Kung Fu Panda or whatever. But if you're in a dark forest and you hear children laughing, it's not supposed to be there, and it's the thing that absolutely should not be there. Hearing someone scream, or maybe even hearing an adult laugh, is one thing, but hearing a child laugh in kind of this disembodied voice, it's very unnatural, and it makes everybody do a double take. Why? What? Children? Why are children here? It's dark. It's dangerous. It's this. It's that. Whatever. So it immediately kind of draws people's attention. Children of the Damned and Village of the Damned, even though they are not laughing. I'll have to check that out, Raven. Children of the Damned. I think I've seen them. Those are older movies. Is that right? Children of the Damned. I need to check that out. I've really kind of gotten fascinated after having watched The Witch. I'm not a big horror fan. I watch The Walking Dead kind of religiously, but The Walking Dead for me isn't horror. It's post-apocalyptic, and I've always loved post-apocalyptic stuff. Society breaks down, and then it's, everyone kind of rebuilding it. I love that. I love that whole thematic thing. And that, for me, is what The Walking Dead is, with the perfect antagonist, the undead, so that, Grimes and everybody can kill as many of the zombies as you can, and you don't feel bad about it. But if you're in an apocalyptic world where they're fighting other humans, at a certain point they're killing good people, and, you feel bad about it. But zombies is perfect. So The Walking Dead is that perfect mix of apocalyptic and horror that kind of draws me into it. And I don't even know why in the last 6 months or so I started watching more horror films. Yeah, I've run out of movies. I can't find anything good to watch. And there's this entire genre. I mean, just the action films are not as good as they are. I've grown older, and I know everything that's going to happen before it happens, and they get more and more outlandish and less and less. The action should have a point. Something. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but the action films, I kind of left that genre a little bit because they're just, who's it, Michael Bay? They're always blowing shit up. I don't care. I want something like Blood Diamond. It's got some fantastic action in it, but lots of drama, lots of motion. And if it's going to be a pure adrenaline rush movie, I want something like Mad Max Fury Road, where we're just going pure action. The whole movie, really after its first opening 5 to 10 minutes, is action for the next hour and a half. There's no point that you get a break. Well, there is towards maybe 2/3 of the way through there when they're gathering in the desert, but it doesn't last long. You get to catch your breath and you're right back into it. That's the type of action film I like. Prometheus, I enjoy those types of films. But a lot of the action films, they're just too rote. It's the same thing over and over again. Kind of boring. Buddy cop movies, all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, I've got it here. Video, Children of the Damned. Yes, black and white. 1964, Children of the Damned. I have to have seen that when I was younger. I'll have to check it out. I'll check the clips out after the show to hear the children, because that's clearly, I can see a little clip here, the children of glowing eyes, and it's going down that direction. Oh, that's interesting that they're more sci-fi. That's very, very interesting. I may have to check them out. Because like I said, since I've kind of left the action genre and wandered into horror, because there's so much of it that I haven't seen, I found a couple of gems. Gretel and Hansel was one, and The Witch is another. The Witch, I can't say enough good about it. It's such a low-key movie. It's so very, very good. But it actually has these children laughing in it, and it does it beautifully. And that's kind of what I'm leaning to on this second trick here, is just have some kind of disembodied voice of children laughing. This could be in a dungeon, this can be overland, it can be anywhere really, and it doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't actually have to be children like any of these things. It doesn't have to be an encounter. The noise could be the trick of the wind. The noise could be bells in a distant church. The noise could be fae that are hiding in the woods and making this noise. And it does. None of that matters. I mean, if the characters really go all out to investigate, you're going to have to come up with something, especially at a higher level, and they have the capacity to do so. But just the idea of the children laughing is enough, I think, to bring people to the table. It works for me pretty well because it's unexpected and it's unnatural, and it combines the innocent with the violent, and nobody wants that. Right? We always, it's in we're hardwired this way to keep those that can't, safe. That's really what, that's the whole purpose of, perpetuation of the species and all that craziness. That's sort of what we do. So these children that are in this spot, that they shouldn't draw our attention. And it's a great way at the table, absolutely a great way at the table, to make everybody go, now wait, what? There's children laughing? I hear what? And then go from there. And once you've kind of got them back, do whatever it is that you're doing. So dive into use that occasion, see how that works for you. On to Trick of the Trade number 3. But I'm going to have to check out this movie here, Children of the Damned. I wish I could find something else like The Witch. I've been poking around quite a bit. I like the period piece of it. It's really got, and I have to say, it's the first time that I have been drawn. I've never cared for the 16th century, 15th century, 1700s, that epic, that time frame, simply because, I don't know, there's nothing there for me. I like the medieval period, and really the early medieval period, maybe the middle period. But 𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬, actually, we had many conversations about it. He really enjoyed the Renaissance. I enjoyed it earlier. But The Witch kind of pulled me into that epic, that time frame, and really enjoyed it. That it's already immediately kind of bled into the concept of a monster I'm creating now and some other things. Just the whole kind of, I don't know, it's like a bridge between the world where we knew nothing and the world where we know too much. We really know too much. And the Renaissance era seems to be a bridge to that. If you can get beyond, I can't remember what that kerfluffle is called, but the men, women worked too, but the men had that big, it was the most unwieldy tie of all time. So I don't know what that thing is called. But get past that. And the hats are kind of cool. Shuriken hats. Placing something unexpected where it doesn't make sense to be. Yeah, that's it, 42. That's the whole thing. And that's actually that's a nice segue into the next section, because all you're doing here is just trying to make everybody go, wait, what? So that they'll stop looking at their phone. Suddenly, their curiosity for the unknown is going to kick in. Children's voices. And it's really, I got to tell you, it's very strange to me that how haunting those voices can be, how captivating they can be. It's really kind of cool. I love how the human mind works, or doesn't it? Eyes of Fire is a period piece set in the 1800s. All right, I'm checking it out. Let me get that. I'm going to write that down now. I've been so hungry for. I love television. I love movies. I love to watch TV. TV. That's two TVs. I love to watch TV shows and movies, but it's tough finding good stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there that's not good. I shouldn't say that. I mean, it's not for me. That's what I'll say. I mean, other people may thoroughly enjoy it, but it's not for me. Eyes of Fire. All right, that's going to be. That's what I will quest for next. Surely it's 1983. All right, surely it's somewhere out there. Yeah, so Chuck knows about the children laughing. There's been a lot of children in the Thursday night game. They've been trying to unravel all kinds of stuff that has been hounding them. And they have figured out nothing so far as I can tell. All right, on to number 3. And 42 gave us a nice tie-in. Make the simple very dangerous. So, this is something I absolutely love to do. And I will do these encounters. This kind of goes into an encounter. I'll do this as an encounter almost anywhere. And it really stems from this heavy metal magazine. It might be *𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬, but I'm pretty sure it's heavy metal. You know, I'm not pretty sure it's heavy metal. Anyways, back in the 70s, early 80s, there was this heavy metal in this, or *𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬 magazine, wanted this really cool story. And these 𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬 natives, they're like Aztec or Mayan or something like that, I think, at some Central America. I'm not sure. I can't remember anymore. And they're traveling down a road, and they end up encountering these tiny little fairies that are just, you know, they're multicolored winged creatures, and they're beautiful, and they sing these nice songs. And there's this whole story behind it that I'm forgetting with time and dust and like legal tape. But the end game is that these fae lull them into sleep, so that they go to sleep, and then the fae cover them in webbing and kill them. And that has clearly stuck with me for 40 years now, 35, 40 years. It was such a fantastic story and such an unexpected ending, coming from something so sweet and so innocent. And so, you know, you think fae and little flowers and toadstools and stuff like that, and then it wasn't like that at all. So it was my first, as a tiny person, it was my first introduction into, you know, making something that seems one thing be another, and with this in mind, making something simple be very, very dangerous. And one of the I used in there the example. I think I put this. I ran this at a table years ago, and I think it's in Heart of Glass. They were just not playing, and we were goofing and whatever. And I wanted to get the table back in order. So they were buying supplies for whatever adventure, and I had the shopkeep. His pet was a gibbering mouther, and he kept it in the basement, and he fed, you know, shoppers to the gibbering mouther. And I got one of the player characters to go down there, and then all hell broke loose as they're fighting the gibbering mouther, which is my favorite monster in all the lexicon books. I love the gibbering mouther. I don't know why, I just absolutely love it. So what I did, so basically what we've got here is we've got a shop where the characters are just shopping for rations and rope and whatever, and suddenly turns into this deadly, you know, trap where they're combating a gibbering mouther. And basically what that did here or then, and what it can do now, is the one character that goes down is suddenly screaming for help, that he's being attacked by X, or something has turned into Y, and he's all over the place, and everybody has to rush to their aid, and or at least try to figure out what's going on. Half the party, I think, wasn't actually in the shopkeep, in the shop itself, and they couldn't do anything, but they were certainly brought back to the table in one wave as a gibbering mouther fell upon their comrade in the basement. It was really cool. So anything that you can take and turn into a larger, you know, a greater, more dangerous threat than it was. Perfect monster for that is the Mimic. Never underestimate the Mimic. Beef it, if you got a higher level character, beef up its AC, beef up its hit dice. The Mimic can appear as anything or very difficult to discover, and then you can immediately catch your party off guard with this creature that's jumping out. Elementals are really good for that. Elementals can be almost anywhere. The Lurker was a Lurker from whatever. This is kind of Lurker. There's all kinds of monsters that you can use that you can take a simple situation and make it terribly dangerous, which will bring everybody to the table. And it's really not like the explosive encounter, dragons swooping in. What this has a greater ramification at the table, because now they have to be kind of aware that you've broken from this encounter, march encounter, march encounter, march encounter thing. Now encounters can happen while they're looking at their player's handbook, trying to price out how much chainmail costs. So anything like that breaks them from the norm, breaks us all from our habits, and gets them thinking that, oh, well, I'm having a drink at the tavern, something could go horribly awry. This trick here actually has a kind of a deeper impact on the game, can have a deeper impact on the game than just an encounter that you hurl at them out of, you know, the dragon is attacking, or something more, you know, less intrusive, the children laughing and the whatever the fuck is flying over there. Unrelated question: where should I go to buy your physical media CNC They want you to get the largest share of the sales revenue. Well, anytime you purchase from our store, we're going to get the largest share there. There's coupons for being part of Discord, and Tim and Chuck will have to correct me, but make sure you have a good coupon. There's a lot of those floating around. I think if you're on World End, we get a coupon. We have a veterans coupon, so definitely go to the store, pick it up. We have everything on digital, everything on print, and if you want it combined, we have print and digital, so you can get the print or the digital or the print and digital, and if you get the two together, there's a pretty good discount on that too. So definitely the store. You can purchase PLD stuff in most, hobby shops and online all over the place, and through OBS, Drive Through RPG. It's available in all kinds of Amazon's all over in Amazon. I think we're even on a Nook to some degree, so definitely you can find us all over the place, but definitely the PLD web store is the place to go. And generally we try to ship within 24 hours. Sometimes it's up to 36 hours or 48 hours, depending on what kind of craziness that we're dealing with. There's a link there on what kind of craziness we're dealing with now. And we do have to let everybody know, we released yesterday the 5th edition version of Stains Upon the Green, and then Monday we are scheduled to release the entire 5th edition version of Amazing Adventures, which will be this huge hardback, along with 7, 8, 9 adventures, the player's book, journal, I don't know, there's a bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of stuff coming out very, very soon. Well, thanks for asking, Kothar, and thanks for all the support. Very, very much appreciate it. Speaking of support, if you have not already, please give us a follow. We sure appreciate it as we lumber into Trick of the Trade number 4, how to grab their attention. So this kind of plays on the same concept that 42 mentioned earlier, and that we talked about in Trick of the Trade number 3. And we call it Unleash the Unusual. And it's really just anything that you can think of that takes a normal situation and makes it unusual. And I would recommend that you don't make it threatening or life-changing or, altering the course of the adventure. What it really is, something like, say they go to the tavern to buy food, and they all get served the food, and there's maggots. One of them takes a bite, and a maggot falls out, and it looks across the table, and she's got maggots in her food, and so forth and so on. So it just, I thought those were pecans on the cake for a moment. Yeah, exactly. But something like that. I think that one of the other things I said, they pitched camp and they could smell blood in the air. It's just anything that takes a usual encounter and makes it kind of unusual. And what this is going to do is it's going to make everybody go, oh, wait, what? What's going on? And then they're going to start using their abilities. They're going to track. They're going to smell. They're going to cast a spell. They're going to do whatever it is to try to unravel. Or minimally, like in the maggot situation, they're going to talk to the innkeep. Something that's going to, everyone at the table is probably going to get focused, at least for a short term. So, and again, as mentioned earlier, once you have their attention, you then can roll into whatever is next. So whatever you're trying to do. It's not maggot-based or blood floating in the air type of base. But it's really just taking the mundane and making it extraordinary, memorable. And all of you, it probably happens to us once a day where you're doing something and something odd happens. It makes you go, what? It mostly probably involves other people in their automobiles. They're zipping around, blocking you or cutting you off or turning without their blinker or whatever it is. These are maybe they're not unusual, but these are things that happen in our brains. Are like, wait a minute, that shouldn't happen that way. Yeah. Get hit in the face by a bug, or just earlier I was putting the lunch trash in the trash can, and the dirt dauber flew into the trash, and I started to put the lid down, and I thought, well, I don't want to trap the poor bastard in there, so I lifted the lid up, and he buzzed out, and as I was trying to put the lid, he went back in, and I lifted the lid, and he came back out, and he hit my shirt a few times, and I stood there until he had backed off, and I got the lid down real fast, and then he followed me out to the freight shop. I don't know what he was doing, but it was unusual. I've never had a dirt dauber, encounter like that. Mostly they and just fly away. But he clearly had something that was on his mind, and he wanted to check it out. So anything that makes the unusual or the usual unusual is a good thing. As it turns out, the tavern was cursed by the Lord of Life. Yeah, you can definitely take it to the next one, to the extreme. You can take your your encounter and roll with it. I love that name. I love the Lord of Life. I love that whole concept behind Tasagra, the floating toad. There you go. Yeah, you definitely, you can run with it. I mean, you can take these things and absolutely run with it and completely baffle everybody at the table, and you can get them into a whole new adventure arc. And frequently, and it's funny you should mention that. I know you're joking, but that's how many adventures start, right? You say something that was either misinterpreted or you didn't say how you wanted it to, or it came across odd, and they reacted this way, and you thought, well, we'll just go with that. This is the way that the adventure's going. This is the way it's going. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with unleashing your unusual animal, letting it go to town. Like hiking through the woods and finding a train car with no train tracks. That's exactly right. And 42, you're going to lead us right into the next one too. But that's a perfect example. You've all been out. I remember years ago at my great grandmother's house, which is long since abandoned. Just if you walk maybe 2,000 feet from it, there's an old car that's laying there from the 40s. And it's got no wheels, and it's down in the mud. It's just all brown rust now. But it's unusual. There's no meaning to it. I don't know whose car it is, or when it was parked there, or when it was abandoned. Who knows? But there's something unusual in the woods, and that's your train car. That's the thing. It's just something that's out of place, or that's shocking enough that makes you think. The flagpole is bent, and the standard is dragging the ground. What? Who bent the flagpole? Why is the flagpole bent? Why is the standard on the ground? It's any number of things that pop into your head and it just seems odd. And these things usually serve to drag people back to the table. Because, let's face it, what you're looking at on the phone is, 9 times out of 10 not interesting anyways. You're just doing it to occupy your brain because you're scrolling. I watch people scroll, and they scroll like this. You can't be reading. There's no way. I guess you could be speed reading, but something. I mean, so anything to make them stop and go, wait, what? And that's what we should have called this whole column was, wait, what? That would have been much better than whatever I called it. Catch the table's attention. But yes, so your abandoned train car in the woods leads us into one of my favorite things to do. I don't do it often, but I love to do it when I do it. Of course, I game with the same people, and if I do it too often, they know what I'm doing, and it doesn't capture their attention. Let's see, there's a series of ravines behind my college deep in the woods that's filled with random junk dating back to the 1930s. Cars, refrigerators, generators, odd bed frames, heaps of moldering timber, etc. Yeah, there you go. See, that's the perfect thing to have them stumble on. There's no reason for, well, there's a reason for, I suppose, somewhere at some point back in the 40s or 30s or whenever that stuff was tossed there, someone was talking to people. But that was almost, 90 years ago, 80 years ago? So whatever meaning behind it is long since lost. There's a mystery here, but it has no bearing because no one's going to be able to unravel the mystery, as all of those people who threw that stuff back there are gone. So, that's the perfect example. You walk into the woods and wait, what's all this stuff doing here? Why are these bones here? Whatever it is. Yeah, Kovar, maybe you need to check where the city dump is. There we are. Do we need to go to panel 5? Is that what we're doing? Yes, panel 5. So now I love that wagon. You went all west on me on that one. I love I love wagons, love horses. I love the idea. I've never actually been in a wagon. I've ridden a horse a little bit, but there's this video. This is just sad. So I normally, when I'm working, I'll have background music playing. One of these, the Cowboy Keeper, yeah, exactly. One of these, playlists of mine. Well, I found the other day, if I could find it again, I would post it here. It's literally a wagon train, and after the first guy, the photographer says something, he says, like, what is this we have here? And it's just like 10 minutes of these people in wagons with their horses clippity-clopping down the road. So I listened to it, and it was very relaxing. I'm looking for it now. I'm not seeing it. It was very relaxing, and then I ended up putting it on loop. I played that wagon train all day long. It was it was really funny, but it was very relaxing. Whatever sound wagons make as they're going. I'm still looking for it. It's somewhere in this mess of mine, and it's called like Prairie Day or something. I can't remember. Out in California where they, I guess they still do this to commemorate the lumbering about that was done early on. I won't know because I can't get sound. That's one of them. That's not the one. At any rate, good stuff. So I love the wagon. It's great, great choice on that one. So this is what I said. By the way, in Tuesday's AMA, I mentioned Kingdom Come Deliverance as an excellent historical RPG computer game set in Bohemia in 1403. No magic, realistic enemy with excellent mechanics. You have to learn everything. You can't fight. You can't shoot a bow. Oh, interesting. You can learn. Today I see it's available to play for free this weekend on Steam. If you have the button, I'll check it out. That's very cool. Kingdom Come Deliverance. All right, I'll check it out. I love medieval stuff, and that sounds like something I can get into if it's a little bit slower pace on the whole thing. Very cool. And I love Steam. Steam's easy to operate, and actually, of course, it wouldn't matter here, but you can actually refund your digital games on Steam. All of it, it's Apple's me, but it's very cool. So, fifth trick of the trade, here we are with a wagon or a cart. I'll do this with a hand cart, a mule-drawn cart, any kind of wagon, anything. There will sometimes be bodies about it, sometimes a horse tied to it, living or dead. Often it's just the cart left in the woods with some compartments that need searched, maybe a broken wheel or something. Sometimes the players get engaged and they want to save it and use it. Sometimes they just want to explore it, whatever. But almost every time without fail, it draws their attention, everybody's attention back to the table. There are many layers of things out in the woods: camps, graves, settlements, hidden shrines, monuments, and we're building secret cars, train cars, so far from what we expect them to be. The simple fact of finding something human-made far out in the wilderness. Yeah, you are spot on. We are an inquisitive species, and we get everywhere, and we take stuff with us everywhere, our tools, and you will find the oddest things in the oddest places. It's just, all you got to do is let your imagination run, think about something, and drop it. And you really don't even have to have a backstory. You can if you don't have to. But 42, you are spot on. The world is, especially in a place like Arkansas, it's after the Native Americans were driven out. It was settled in like the 1830s, 1840s. So we've been here 150 years or something like that. And before that, you've got, I don't know where we are on the dating, but thousands of years of settlement from who did we have here? We had the Caddo Indians in the south. I believe the Arkansas Indians were here, and now it was a major, Osage? Osage? Damn it. I'm pretty well versed in the surface of Native American history. Osage Indians? Doesn't sound right. At any rate, yeah, so there were settlements here long before us. And so all of that stuff, there's still pieces of that. It remains, right? There's still things that remain behind that you can find, you can stumble upon in the forest or the plains or wherever it is. And in some places like the plains, it's even odder. Just plain old West game, and there's a decent chance there's an organ laying out there somewhere. I mean, there's just any number of things you can do with this stuff. One down shacks out in the middle of nowhere always creep me out when I come across them in the woods. That's a perfect example. And it doesn't have to, that's a great example, Raven. It doesn't have to be anything huge. It doesn't have to be a dungeon or anything. It's just a shack. People build stuff. I watched this one YouTube family who they explore places out west. They were live streaming it a lot, but they don't do that anymore because they had people guiding them places that weren't good. But they go to these strange abandoned shacks that are just out in the middle of, they're literally out in the middle of nowhere, where there's no water even. And you wonder to yourself, what's going on? Why? Why did someone come all the way out here and bring some rudiments of civilization with them and build this stuff and then leave or die or whatever it is? And that same thing plays in the table. That same curiosity that we all have when we're watching these things, it plays at the table. And when you mention it, when you bring it out, people will stop and take a second look. What is that? I don't know what anything is called that is on my YouTube feed. I don't know. Let's see. They're pretty dramatic. These it's like a father and his 3 daughters. They're funny and a little dramatic, like I said. Yeah, here they are. Let's see. I'm gonna post. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna post this one here. This is where I think this is the one where they talked about they got guided by people. Hey, so check this crew out. Pretty entertaining stuff. No, that's an Area 51. Whatever, I don't know. Just check it out. They go to their channel. That can't be right. That can't be right at all. I don't know what channel that. You'll figure it out. From that YouTube video, you'll figure out what's going on. But it's very, very good stuff. God, I gotta turn that off. There's jibber jabber. No, I saw that one. I don't know. And they're funny too, and that just makes it far more entertaining when people are just funny with what they're doing. I like to be, I like humor. But that, yeah, Commander Pete, that's absolutely perfect. This strange, what is that, an old mill or something, I guess? Yeah, that's got to be part of an old, yeah, you can see where the wheel would have gone around, the water pushing it, I suppose. And most of it's just long since gone, except the water is still coming down. I don't know, it's very cool. That stuff is very cool. And if they encounter something like that, it has no real purpose. It has no, part of your adventure. It's just, all it is a trope to get them back to the table and back paying attention to whatever jibber jabber that you're doing, whatever adventure you're running. Something to focus their attention. Wheelhouse for a mind. Yeah, there you go. But there's nothing there, right? There's no traitor, there's no monsters. It's just something you describe, and they're like, wait, what a minute, what's going on? And so our last trick of the trade, the wagon, certainly serves that as well. And the nice thing about a wagon, I frequently will do, if I really want to kind of engage people, I'll have a mule or a horse still alive attached to the wagon, and no people around it, something like that, and that immediately almost always engages them. Someone at the table to take care of the horse. I talked about that before, using animals to play, to tug on the sympathy strings, to tug on those strings of your players, and get people a little bit more engaged. So good stuff there. All right, I think that's it. That's our 5th trick of the trade. We don't have anything special going on today, no giveaways or raids or anything like that. The trolls are a bit beleaguered as we are. We've got 𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬 off the press. It is at the printers. I've got the last few chunks of 𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬 to wrap up. I want it at the printers tomorrow. We unraveled the poster for 𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬, so that's done as well. And we're going to see this Kickstarter wrapped up in the next few weeks and move on to other things. I'm really hoping by next week I'll be focused on 𝐓𝐫𝐚𝐝, and for me that's really just kind of going over Peter Bradley's layout and making sure everything's kind of lined up with the backers. And then I'm going to be purely working on Planescapes, Gods and Monsters, 𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬, and there's another project that I'm working on, all kind of simultaneously, of Gods and Monsters, of Air, all kind of putting together. So that'll be me next week. Lots of writing, lots of designing going on, which I am way overdue for. I've been caught up in print shop, mailroom, and layout for far too long, for months it seems like. And great thoughts to revisit. It's great how you organize the thoughts where sometimes we do these things, but not as consciously. Ultra Magnus, thanks for that. Yeah, a lot of these things, we know we all do them, especially if we've been at the table for a while. It's not, some of them might be new, but a lot of them are just things that you do almost instinctively to get people to do this or to get the results here. But it's helpful to, you're right, it's helpful to get it organized. And since we've got it up online, it's helpful for new people who are coming into it, who get very frustrated or intimidated. You know, I'm sure I was way back in the 1980s, but I don't remember it. It's all faded. I started running the games early on, and the crew just, we all kind of, it was a different crew in those days than I have now, but we all just kind of clicked, and we all liked D&D, so all of that. But especially if you're at conventions, and I see a lot of people post, you know, here and there, a little bit nervous about their first game, and you know, not sure how to do this, especially young people. It's good to feed that fire and let people know. So Google Images for 𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬 for lots of other cool photos of the world. Oh, very cool. Good tip there. We need to put that up. Commander Pete, it would be a cool resource to put up on the Discord channel. Is just have a channel that's devoted to that type of stuff, where CKs and players can go in and get inspiration, and say there's a link to that, to whatever Bing images on 𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬, and they can go and check it out. That would just be a cool resource. I spend a lot of time on Pinterest, poking around, looking at images for inspiration, both for my Thursday night game, but for a lot of the writing that I do. And I'll do, like when I'm creating rune spells, I'll go in and type in kind of a string of words and see what comes up, to see if it kind of can inspire me to create something unusual, something different. So image searches would be fantastic. Let's see. That's a weird one because it's almost a remake of the first one. I think I missed something on the movies. Ginger Snap back at the beginning. Ginger Snaps. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to have to check out Ginger Snaps now. I don't know what that is, but I'm definitely going to check it out. You never can tell. I have my filter turned off on Bing, so a bunch of cookies came up. Oh, wait, I see what we got. Okay, there we go. All right, I'll check that out. Very cool. That turning filters off on search engines is a very, very dangerous thing to do. So, can I get a Discord? Never mind, I found it. Okay, cool. Come and join the fun. Yeah, lots of. I'm going to try to start going to Discord more. I haven't been going enough. I need to get over there and join the fun. The title. Okay, I will. I will keep that in mind. I'm so sorry. Very cool. I'll check it out. Very, very cool. All right. Well, that's about it, everybody. I want to thank you all for. It is an excellent pun. Okay, now I've got to check this thing out. We're gaming tonight, but I'll check it out over the weekend. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I sure appreciate it. I will be back next Tuesday for AMA at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, and hopefully I'll have the new mic and the lighting equipment, blah, blah, blah. And Thursday again for 𝐓𝐫𝐤𝐬 Dragon. We will tackle that, and of course, The Lazy Painter, is that what he's called? His show is on Wednesdays at 7, and I think Tim will be in and around for World Anvil at 1 or noon on Wednesday. The whole mess. So please join us, and Chuck's running games this weekend. So please join us if you can, and thank you all for joining us tonight. It's actually changed. Turned out there was another. Oh, okay. Well, check the schedule. It's all on there. It all works. Thank you, Commander Pete, Ultra Magnus, everybody, Barry Kingham, everybody for joining us tonight. And thanks for your suggestions and your links. Very cool. Haunted Holler Painting. Okay, that's what we're calling it. Excellent. I can remember that because of the Haunted Highlands. Man, we got to get back on that Haunted Highlands stuff. All right, too many things going on. Okay, everybody, y'all have a great evening. I'm going to go find a bite to eat and take a little bit of a nap. So we'll talk to y'all later.